You're listening to Women's Dream Enlightenment. Dream decoding, deep discussions, and spiritual stories of self-discovery to inspire your personal enlightened journey. I'm your host, Megan Mary, founder of Women's Dream Analysis. Let's bring in the light. Welcome. Today we have Theresa Wornstaff. She is an influential catalyst for graceful change. She was born a high-level intuitive and has cultivated her intuitive skills of knowing and channeling so she can tap into your soul's purpose and guide you to manifest a life of purpose, design, and desire. Complementing her deep intuition is over 30 years in corporate, 20 years of that consulting business, large and small, and coaching and mentoring individuals in transition. She brings the trifecta of expertise, business, life, and intuition. Welcome, Teresa.
Thank you so much, Megan. It's wonderful to be here.
Yes, I'm so glad to finally have you on. I know we've been trying to do this recording for quite some time, so it's just lovely that it's happening on the full moon. It's not necessarily going to be coming out on one, but I think it's very appropriate.
I do too.
Well, I'm going to start off with my signature question, which is, tell the audience what enlightenment means to you.
Thank you for asking, because I think enlightenment is one of the most important assets that we can cultivate within us. And enlightenment to me is shining the light within, for it's everything within that wants to be expressed out. And of course, everything without is reflected from within. It's that as above, so below philosophy.
I love that. And I love reflecting everything inside ourselves into that outer world, because so many times we let the outside world dictate how we are versus us adjusting our reality, reflecting outwards how we really are on the inside.
Yeah.
That's the ultimate challenge.
It is. It's interesting. I did some channeling last week for a private group, and one of the things that my guides shared with us was, don't outsource your wisdom. Everything that you have is within. Give yourself the opportunity to tap into it and cultivate trust and intuition so that you can step into what is yours to be, do, and have on this planet. I think that's essential, especially now as more and more people are waking up. I think that's an essential message.
I think it's really important to trust that inner wisdom. And that's part of the reason that I get so involved with dream work, is because I feel like that's where our intuition is really lying in the shadows for us and waiting for us to just listen to the very quiet whispers that it's delivering.
I agree 100%. And dream has, throughout my whole life, been a source of wisdom for me, a source of curiosity and joy. And our guides, our soul, the universe, send us hundreds of messages a day, and they will use every tool at their fingertips to get our attention so that we can receive all the support that we need to step into our lives powerfully. So
Yes.
I just love what you do. I think dream interpretation is an art, a science, and an intuitive dance that is such a blessing for anyone who can receive that wisdom. So thank you for that.
Thank you. That's beautiful. That is so lovely. I was called to it. It was almost thrust upon me, I would say. And when you say we're receiving so many messages a day, yes, it's overwhelming. When you start to listen,
Mhm.
you can't keep up. There's almost this feeling of, okay, yes, yes, I'm going as fast as I can. And the more you pay attention, the more they give you. And it felt like a freight train back when I first started. Like I was just holding on with my feet in the air. So yes, it's amazing though. So I feel that when people feel lost and that they don't have any support or guidance, it's really important for them to
Mhm.
hear that. It's really important for them to understand that it's within themselves, that it's not outside. It's really all already inside, and we just have to learn how to tap into it. I think that's one of the difficulties and frustrations with people that I hear a lot is they say, well, that sounds great, but I don't remember my dreams, or I don't know how to do it, or I don't hear those things, or I don't see those messages. And I think it's partly a state of openness also
Mhm.
to receive that information.
Mhm. A state of willingness. I would agree. And intuition is as unique as a fingerprint. We all have our way of receiving intuitive messages. And I know that when we decided as a society hundreds of years ago that intuition was no longer going to be honored, we deprived ourselves of one of our greatest assets. And our intuition mirrors our physical senses: hearing, seeing, knowing, the mind, feeling, sense, touch. It mirrors our physical senses. And where our physical senses on a scale of 1 to 10 take us to 2 or 3, intuition takes us to 10. And the journey that is open to every single one of us, you and I included, all of the listeners, everyone on the planet, is what is your ability within that gift? And the more that you learn how you uniquely interact with your intuition, whether it's knowing or hearing or seeing, the more that you interact and cultivate it, the stronger it grows. It's like learning how to play the piano. We need to apply time and attention to grow the skill. And let me give you a small example. And I think this comes from both who I am as a person, but also the corporate America gig. I like context, because then it gives me this round world to drop this knowledge into. So if one of your intuitive skills and abilities is to see, well, seeing can occur in a myriad of ways. It can show up as light orbs in your vision. It can show up as a movie across the screen of your mind when you close your eyes. It could show up as flash images that just drop in when you're thinking of something, and more and more. So, what are the intuitive gifts that you feel strongly affiliated with? And then give yourself permission to go explore how that occurs for you. And you'll be astounded at the synchronicities that start to show up in your life, the blessings that start to show up in your life, the opportunities, the wisdom, the joy, the love. Dancing with our intuition opens all of those doors and cultivates what we all want: to be seen, heard, loved, and confidence. We want to feel confident about ourselves. Intuition, when you spend time and cultivate it, can give that to you.
I love that. And I want to hear more about your journey and how you came to discover your own gifts and what happened first that led you down that path.
Well, I have a unique journey because I was born with all of my intuitive gifts turned on. So for me, it's been a dance of what do I do with them? I was born into a Muggle family. There was no spiritual talk, no intuitive conversations. It was very patriarchal and traditional, and I can remember being a baby and playing with the energy and playing with the beings that surrounded me when I was laying in my crib and not understanding why other people couldn't see that as well as I was seeing it. And then growing up as an intuitive, I'm 6 years old. I can see that, but they can't. And at that age, you don't have the tools to communicate, hey, I think you're making a bad decision, you know?
Yeah. Are you sure you want to do that?
Yeah, exactly. Right. So, or if they would lie, I would know.
Mm.
And then I'd be horrified. So then I thought, okay, well, clearly I'm not where I used to be. And maybe I just need to do things differently. So I systematically started to not shut them down, but quiet them,
Mm.
right?
Yes.
Just to get by, just to make do. And then it was a studied effort in normalizing, living by societal terms instead of my own.
Yes. And I think that's the path that happens to a lot of people. They have that, I want to say, pure experience when they're younger that they naturally can see and understand things and are curious about things that eventually the adults around them discourage them from, or
Mhm.
they just pick up that that's not cool and that's not accepted and maybe you shouldn't share that. And it becomes something that you then either become ashamed of or that you become uncomfortable with, and that you somehow, even if it's subconsciously, turn it off
Mhm.
and reject it and try to become what you feel you're supposed to be, which isn't that. And I think a lot of people that are working in this sector, I would say, I don't know if it's an industry, but I guess it is, have something that happens that jars them back to that.
Mhm.
And it's not always necessarily a pleasant experience, but it's something that makes them, you can call it an awakening, but it's really most times just a remembering
Yeah.
where they're reclaiming and reconnecting and revalidating for themselves what they always knew to be true about themselves, but they lost that confidence, like you said, and self-assuredness to own it.
Well said. Yeah, I agree. And there's two things that dropped in that my guides wanted me to highlight for you as you were speaking. And one was that generationally, the alphas that are coming in now are stronger intuitively and embracing their gifts. I wrote a book that'll be coming out within the next 6 months or so from now, which is August in 24. And I did a generational analysis. Every generation brings a new level of intuitive awareness. They're stronger, they have more connection to the soul, to the universe. And for example, the millennials were vilified because they wouldn't compromise their values and they wouldn't validate a 40, 50, 60, 70, 80-hour work week as being a norm, right? Give them a little love and they will deliver above and beyond what's expected because they thrive in environments where they're appreciated and given a little room to use their imagination and wisdom to find solutions.
Mm.
They don't want to stay in the box.
Hmm.
And then the subsequent generations, you're seeing the same thing. They tend to be a little more wiser, not smarter, wiser. And
Hmm.
it's coming through naturally. So I love watching that evolution, enlightenment coming through not only in what we're going through cosmically on the earth as this great awakening, but also generationally, how we've been supported to underpin this with greater wisdom.
Let's talk about the Great Awakening because I've had a lot of conversations offline about it, but I can't say that we've really talked in depth about it on a podcast episode. And other people might be saying, "What? What's that?" So, yeah, let's talk a little bit about that for a minute.
Okay. So, would you like my perspective?
Yes.
Okay. The Great Awakening is the earth evolving. So, we've heard this 5D, fifth dimension in variety of forms. It's not a place, it's a vibration. It's how we vibrate. When we diminish the dualistic thinking and perspectives, and we move into a more whole or spiritually aligned, soul aligned perspective on the world. Now, in my opinion, Earth is evolving into 5D. She's raising her vibration, and that's evidenced by things like the electromagnetic fields have been volatile for 8 months now. The solar flares, NASA predicted that the solar flares would peak in 2025, and we're seeing them peaking in 2024. And I don't think they've peaked. I think we're just experiencing cosmic energies coming in, and that's one of the tools that we measure them. So the solar flares are coming in, bringing in higher vibrational energy to support the earth evolving. Now, the earth is evolving because she's choosing and in response to what is optimal for her soul. So everything has a soul, earth has a soul as well, and she's ready to move on. Now, as human beings sitting on this rock on earth, we're at choice. What we're seeing in the advent of normalizing spirituality is people like you bringing spirituality, and instead of 100 people watching, we now have 100,000 people watching because there's a curiosity and an inner yearning that's been awakened within the human essence, and it has activated the soul connection so that the soul can land in the human body in a much more powerful and effective way. And this is why the inner wisdom is part of the human evolution, and how and why humans will move into that which is theirs to do, be, and have. There are two mandates for humans on this planet. First is to evolve the self and grow the soul self from the individual perspective, and secondary is to understand what is your mission as a human being on this planet. What are you here to be, do, and have? What are you here to be? It is the essence within that is asking for cultivation so that you can understand how you can contribute to the evolution of this planet and move forward in both aspects, individually and as a soul.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Very well put.
Thank you.
Yes, I love that you brought up the solar flares because I'm so enamored with that. I actually witnessed the aurora borealis for the first time in my life in May, and it has been a bucket list thing that I have always wanted to witness, and it was one of the most just exhilarating spiritual experiences I have ever had. And I have an Aurora app on my phone because I am constantly watching because I know that's like the solar cycle peak and I am going to be there for it every time I can. So
Yeah.
yeah, I just want to receive, and it was just so marvelous. And in addition, what you talked about with the evolution of the planet, also tapping into the inner wisdom being part one of those pillars, really.
Mhm.
That's really what I've been getting to, is that our mission is to raise the spiritual intelligence. And the way to do that comes from within. And it comes by tapping into that greater matrix out there in the quantum field where we're part of it, and shedding the notion that we're all separate beings and that we're all the whole separation, and the separation between the physical and the ethereal.
Mhm.
Shedding all of that so that we can tap into that larger knowledge that's there for us, that's calling for us. And
Mhm.
a lot of people are being called. And that's really why you hear so much about this spiritual awakening, and you hear so much about the great awakening. When you said there's a choice, what I was expecting you to say, and you may have in so many words, was that I've heard people say that there are people who are going to embrace the call, as you and I have, and then there's ones who are going to deny it,
Mhm.
and that they are not going to move forward as part of that evolution. And it's difficult to step out as a healer, as a speaker of the truth of this, that we don't necessarily have physical proof of, that we are just deliver we're the messengers, essentially.
Yeah.
It's difficult to do that because there are so many people who are not ready to receive that message.
Well, I believe strongly it's important to honor the path, no matter what is chosen. And as a human being, we have free will. That is what makes Earth the greatest place to learn. Everything we learn is transmitted back to the collective, to the soul, to the universe. So the universe can grow and evolve. And there are some people who came on Earth to say no. I mean, and hello, it kind of makes my heart ache a little bit for them, you know?
Yeah, well, I was
Um,
going to say it's so disappointing, especially when you may not even have a choice to be the deliverer of that message, and then it still may not be received.
well, it's for me, their soul decided that that was not how they were going to contribute to the planet, that they were going to come in and they were going to experience hardship, and they were going to experience prejudice, and they were going to experience judgment. They were going to hold judgment. They chose a harder path than we did.
Hmm.
They really did. And I'm going to give you an example. I do a lot of international work, and I have a client who was born in female in Iran. And she said, growing up, A, it was scary being female, and B, you were lucky if you made it out alive. Now, she was lucky and she was able to move to a different country and be safe. Most of her family's still there. But her question to me when we started working together is, why on earth would my soul choose that? Life doesn't happen to you, it happens for you. Every single thing that comes into your life is by your design. And when you can move into that inner wisdom and mine why that occurred for you, your vibration expands and grows. For her, it's the ability to step into compassion, into kindness, into non judgment, and to be a soft landing place for those who are still experiencing this. It's not easy being on the other side of the Great Awakening. And it is a choice. And our job as individuals who are committed to seeing this earth and ourselves evolve, and as many people as we can take with us, is to love them no matter what. Boy, that's not easy, is it?
Yeah, that's definitely the challenge, I think, because you are feeling so, at least myself, highly sensitive. And that's part of the reason probably I was chosen to do this, but that's also makes it the greatest challenge for me because a lot of people that are around me are not that way. And they're just kind of like, don't worry about it. Let those people go, slough it off. Don't be so sensitive, right? But of course you are sensitive. That's why you're
Yeah.
doing it. But that also makes you the person who has the hardest time accepting that your message might not be received or worse. Um,
Weaponized against you.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. I agree. Megan, I feel the same way. Sometimes it hurts, and sometimes my feelings are bigger than my conscious want to do the right thing, you know? And that's why, for those who do choose, keep holding the light. And here's the other thing. Oh, this was the other point they wanted me to make earlier. Don't do it alone.
Oh,
I
yeah.
cannot tell you how incredibly essential it is to have a community who sees and hears you and holds you and grows with you, right?
Yes. It's incredibly important. And I would have never had the community that I have had I not started the podcast.
Isn't that wonderful? Oh,
Yes, it brought women from all over the world to me to tell their story. And many of them were saying, this is incredibly synchronistic because I needed a way and a place to tell my story, and I didn't know how I was going to do it. And then there you were. And I was thinking, well, I was told I needed to do this, and I didn't know how I was going to fill that emptiness of who's going to come tell their story.
yeah,
And it was just made to do that. And all of the people that I have crossed paths with that have reinforced and validated and supported each other. And it's just been beyond what I could have ever imagined.
yeah. I channel three energies, three collectives at the moment. They're telling it, yeah. Shh. Sorry. One of
Introduce them.
them, yeah. So one of them is the divine feminine. And this is a collective of very powerful female, like Isis and Mother Mary and Grandmother Anna, and all of these powerful female souls who are here to remind us to bring the divine feminine back into balance with the divine masculine, right? And a big part of the divine feminine is collaboration, cooperation, communication, all of these tools that bring us together and allow us to be vulnerable, seen, held, and heard, and grow from that experience. I have a trust circle that I run every Tuesday at 9 a.m. Pacific, and it's free. Go to my website, you can sign up, show up. Everybody's welcome because it has become a sacred space for human evolution. And so, this is my invitation to anybody who wants, yourself and anyone listening who wants to join us. And to complete my description, because I also channel two other collectives. The ones who we heard earlier come through are the 99, and that doesn't mean the number of souls in the collective. The 99 is representational of the numerology of 99, of wholeness, of completeness, of evolution. And their primary mandate is to support the evolution of the human being. So they come in with messages specifically for us to hear and receive, both consciously and subconsciously, because everything, when they speak through me, there are transmissions and codes that come through the vibration of my voice. So even in the listening, you're receiving encodements specifically for you. And this is by choice, your guides, and you are choosing to receive whatever you choose to receive. The third collective is led by a male identifying, I guess is the way to say it, soul called Eli. And it's a council. Thank you. It is a council of beings who are here to support humans who are changing systems. So we can't fix things from where they currently are. We need to introduce new systems, socioeconomic, dealing with homelessness, with poverty, with hunger, business, how we do business in the very control command way that businesses are structured now, very financially driven, as opposed to, are we doing the right thing? Are we doing the best thing? And if we are, finances become a natural outcome, so they thrive. So they're very systems focused, much more big picture type of information when I channel them. And the three of them also work collaboratively because we need a little bit of all of that to contribute to the awakening. Channeling is something that I've been doing since about right when we shut down for COVID. It started to come in, and it is how I learned what my mission on the planet is, which is to support human evolution and
Yes.
normalize spirituality.
Yes. I love that phrase. It's great.
Yeah.
Well, in closing, tell the listeners where they can find you. I know you mentioned your trust circle. Let them know where they can find information. And then if you'd like to channel a closing statement, I'm sure that they're competing right now to say things. So yes, I'll open the floor for that.
All right. Thank you. Go to my website, teresawornstaff.com. You can also find me on TikTok and Facebook and Instagram and YouTube, where I share not only wisdom that I bring in, but also wisdom from other people so that we have multiple sources of information to learn and grow from. Let's check in and see who wants to drop in. And we heard from the 99 in the last channeling. So now we, the Divine Sisters, would like to come in with a message for all of you. You are amazing, and you are here on earth for purpose. Begin to love thyself as you love others. Open to the great divinity within that wants to be expressed. You are the female warrior of the heart, and it is now that this wants to be expressed. Find your tribe, find your support system, grow and evolve and learn what wants to be expressed, both in the individual and at the collective. For there are no accidents, you are here, and your soul and the universe have a divine mission awaiting for you to discover it. And know that you will not travel alone, that we, your guides, your soul, will all walk with you. Embrace what is yours and know that you are loved. Oh,
Thank you so much. That was wonderful to receive.
thank you for giving me the opportunity.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for being my guest today and bringing all of your wisdom and just supportive messages. I know they will be well received around the world. I can't wait to share them. And thank you for all you do.
Thank you, Megan. It's been an honor.
Thank you. Thank you for listening. Did you enjoy this episode? You can now send me a text message and share your experience. Be sure to subscribe to make sure you never miss an episode. Head over to my YouTube channel and hit that subscribe button as well to be part of my growing community. Are you ready to take the next step in your spiritual journey? Don't miss out on the new Dream Empowerment programs. Unique opportunities for you to unlock your inner wisdom, discover your authenticity, align with your higher self, and bring abundance into your life. If you'd like your dream or awakening story featured on my show, submit it today. Your dreams have the power to inspire and enlighten other women on their journey. Visit meganmary.com to find out more.